The answer may lie with the impala's defensive strategy. Did the dogs lose the element of surprise? Just like dogs, impala benefit from living in a group. Big, wide-set eyes have a broad field of view. They keep a lookout in all directions. The result is a defensive perimeter around the impala herd called a flight zone. If any predator approaches this invisible boundary, the impala raise the alarm. Most predators will try to sneak inside the flight zone and surprise the antelope. But dogs are different. They were never trying to be stealthy. They know the antelope will flee and that they'll have to give chase. So surprise was never a factor. Then maybe the dogs were just worn out by a faster opponent. When the dogs charge, the impala scatter to confuse the predators. And a healthy adult impala can usually outrun a dog. They have evolved without collarbones. This adaptation increases the rotation of their shoulders. It gives their front legs an even longer reach and allows them to cover more ground in a stride. A single bound can carry them 9 meters. And the impala pull out another trick. Those high arcing jumps. It doesn't help them get away any faster, but it may send a message to the dogs. It advertises their vigor, saying, "I'm too fast for you." It works well for the strong impala, but it can betray the weaker ones. Lightphase was able to pinpoint a young impala who didn't leap, basically saying, "Come and get me." So the impala's evasive tactics may have actually helped the dogs select a target. In the first wave of the skirmish, that's all they needed to do. But on the second wave, they were in it for the kill. The skirmish line folds in half behind the impala. Now there are dogs flanking it on both sides. Success is moments away. So why couldn't the dogs finish the job? This is the culprit. The chase has taken them straight into lion territory. The moment the big cat appears, the dogs stop being predators. Now they're prey. And this one's not alone. Luckily, the lion appears to have no interest in hunting, impala or dog. But the dogs take no chances. For the impala, 2 wrongs have made a right. For the dogs, there is the hungry march back to the den. At home, they have more than their own appetites to consider. The pups are waiting. Missing a daily meal brings the threat of dehydration and stunted growth. But the hunters have failed. Although they are the offspring of Roxy and Lightface, the entire pack is concerned for their well-being. Every dog will help feed the pups, and every dog will risk its life to protect them. Even so, half these pups will probably not reach adulthood. Hunger is a serious threat, but there are others more sinister. Not lions, but something nearly as deadly. Hyenas. It's not the adult dogs they're after. They're looking for a chance to rush in and snatch a helpless pup. These cooperative hunters are just as unified in the defense of their family. Two hyenas don't stand a chance against 10 dogs, and they know it. The pups are still hungry. The Xi'an pack must hunt again, and soon. The next morning at Umfolozi, the Xi'an pack is restless. They're used to eating every day. After yesterday's failure, adults and pups alike are desperate for a meal. They seek out their usual prey once more, but the impala have moved on. They have to be on the lookout for more readily available prey and change their strategy when necessary. They drop into a densely wooded valley near the den. But what they initially find is a little more than they can handle. Black rhino are notoriously bad-tempered, and it's covered in virtual body armor, skin 2 centimeters thick. They seem reluctant to leave it alone. The rhino bears wounds, perhaps from parasites or an encounter with a lion. The dogs may sense it's in a weakened state. Its nervous reaction triggers the dog's prey response. They're predisposed to give chase to anything that flees. But they'll get nowhere with this opponent. Finally, common sense prevails. Light phase leads them deeper into the thick woods. They're after different prey in different terrain. This calls for a new strategy. One mid-ranking male breaks away from the pack and heads for slightly higher ground. For the first phase of this hunt, he is the scout. He searches for a creature that relies on camouflage. A slight breeze moving up the valley trips his sensitive nose. It's a clue that he's close to what he's looking for. Nyala. Large forest antelope are hiding among the trees. They are related to impala, but with a critical difference in behavior. They're usually found in small groups, but males are often solitary, so they lack the impala's extensive surveillance system. The scout's role shifts. He is now the driver, in charge of flushing out the hidden Nyala. The rest of the pack waits at the bottom of the hill. The lone dog must locate the prey and drive it down the hill toward the others and into the trap. The dog scans the shadows and catches a flash of motion. It's just a vervet monkey chattering in the treetops. Nothing the dog can chase. Then, a target. A lone male Nyala. But instantly, it senses the danger and spooks. The dog is caught in the wrong position, and the Nyala flees deeper into the forest. Instead of running downhill toward the waiting pack, it's running across the hillside, away from the pack and toward freedom. For a moment, it looks as if it might escape, but the dogs aren't so easily fooled. As if driven by intuition, they swing to the left as a single unit. In a dense thicket, they intercept the prey. Success. The dogs have turned defeat into victory. It took a perfect formula of instinct, skill, and strategy. In near silence, the dogs lay into their meal, one that almost got away. How was the Nyala nearly able to escape? And how did the dogs manage to regain the upper hand? At the outset, the odds favored the Nyala. Dogs hunt mainly with sight. They're good at pinpointing moving prey in open ground. But they're colorblind, so they're less adept at picking out stationary, camouflaged prey. So the scout failed to spot the Nyala. But somehow, the Nyala got wind of the dog. There was no herd to warn it, so how did it know? It got a little help from a friend. Vervet monkeys live in social groups too. When it chattered from the treetop, it was warning its fellow monkeys of the predator. The Nyala reacted to the monkey's alarm and got a jump on the dog. A lucky break, but the dogs below have a secret weapon. Sight is their primary sense, but they're also armed with a great pair of ears. They're shaped like huge funnels for capturing distant sounds at frequencies twice as high as a human can hear. 19 different muscles fire independently to swivel the ears like twin radar dishes and pinpoint the prey's movement. They can hear the Nyala changing course, and they make a critical decision. Two of the dogs shift to the left, homing in on the sound. The others tune into the body language of their packmates and follow. They maintain their battle line, but they swing it to the left as a unit.